Salutations, future Twig. Past Twig here once again, and we're back with another card call out for everyone. Today we're looking at another multicolored card, and in this case we're looking at a Dimir blue-black card, which is Soul Diviner, a 2/3 zombie wizard with the tap ability, remove a counter from an artifact, creature, land, or planeswalker you control, and draw a card. And as you can imagine, with all the new proliferate triggers we've had and all the new types of counters we've had introduced recently, since this card came out with shield counters and the like, there's a lot of different options and a lot of different deck synergies that you can use this in, and as such I wanted to highlight this card. Moving on, of course, it's a 44-cent card released only in War of the Spark, has not been released since then. And a little bit further on, you can see it's in about 11,000 decks, which isn't too bad. Multicolored cards are always tougher to include because whenever you're doing with multicolored cards, they're much more mana restrictive. You have to have those colors in your commander to use it. And when you do that, the more colors you have in a commander, the more card options available to you, which means that you have more competition for each individual card that you include in your deck. Moving on, let's get into the synergies here. So first off, I include Admiral Brass, Unsinkable. And what I love about him is he does do some milling, which is nice. However, it's his second ability that's very important, which is at the beginning of combat on your turn, you return target pirate card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, is base power and toughness 4, and it gains haste until end of turn. And of course, they specify that if a creature with a finality counter on it would die, exile it instead. Well, obviously, Soul Diviner is not a pirate, but that ability to remove a counter from a creature means that you basically can reoccur the pirate with Admiral Brass, his second ability, and then you can have Soul Diviner tap, draw you a card for free, which is always a nice thing, and remove that finality counter, so if that pirate is immediately killed, he gets sent back to the graveyard, and you can just keep reoccurring your pirates and keep gaining value. It just is a very simple 2-mana drop that's a 2/3, which is already pretty good, but this ability to keep your creatures alive and not be exiled permanently keeps your Admiral Brass's ability functioning, which is just a wonderful synergy. Moving on, you also have cards like, I'm going to mess this name up because all of the assassins I don't know very well, is Basim's Ishak. If am I saying that right? Ishak? But anyways, what I love about him is he specifies historic spells, and historic spells include sagas, which sadly Soul Diviner cannot touch because they are enchantments, but it also specifies artifacts and legendaries, such as legendary artifacts and equipment, which do often have counters, such as 1+1/+1 counters and charge counters, which can be attacked by Soul Diviner. So this just gives you a way to draw cards in addition to Ishak's already built-in card drawing engine, just to help give you more card draw, and to potentially make use of those +1/+1 counters that Ishak accrues by himself whenever he deals combat damage to a player. So just a lot of ways to get additional utility out of your counters in a deck where you're trying to draw lots of cards and get lots of counters on stuff like Ishak. Last but not least, we of course have a commander from the brand new Final Fantasy set, which is another name I'm going to screw up. Grahatia, Scion Reborn. I think I said that right. Anyways, what's wonderful about this card is that whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay X life. X is that spell's mana value. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token and put X +1/+1 counters on it. Do this only once each turn. Well, this just gives you an ability to keep drawing cards so that you have more non-creature spells in hand so that you can keep casting spells, because as it says, only once each turn, but of course, that means you can include a lot of instants, which are non-creature spells, or other things that maybe have flash, such as artifacts, and then cast those spells on other opponents' turns to keep your value engine going. And that is actually all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this card call, and have a wonderful day. Take care.